Very, very honored and pleased to have a master in the house. I believe this is Dr. Z's first time speaking here at Simply Wholesome. I've known him for years. He has a brand new book called Slaves of the Tongue. I'm sure you guys are all interested in hearing about the information that's compiled. This book is a compilation of several years worth of work. He left this book for me a couple of months ago, and I was afraid of the cover. So I had it on my bed forever, looking at it, and I don't know if I really want to read it. But one night, about a month or so ago, I cracked it open and started reading it, and I learned, I was amazed, and it's amazing how we can always increase our knowledge. So please, I know that we all at this point in our lives have seen people go out on a bad note. We've seen people that are close to us that we miss every day die of things that were probably preventable. So let's utilize the expertise and knowledge that this brother has amassed over the years. Let's listen to what he has to say, and then let's pick his brain and ask questions. Because now's the time to ask questions. He's here for free. We can talk about him, and I would talk to him, and I would encourage you to pick up his book. This is an important book for all of us to have in our library, and it's also makes a very good gift, because giving the gift of life, I don't know that there's a better way to say I love you to anyone. All right, so without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Dr. Z.
Thank you. Thank you, April.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was me. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let me get my seat so I can learn too.
Good evening, everybody. It's really great to be here. I want to thank everybody for taking time to come out today. I am ecstatic about sharing with you my new book. I just got back from Detroit and Cleveland on tour, which was just exceptional. So I'm down to these few books left, and we're gonna get those out to you this evening. The reason that I wrote Slaves of the Tongue is because we need to make some choices with some of the things that we're doing today. Today we're just following the followers, and we continue to follow the followers, and we continue to get sick over and over. And if we follow the followers, what do? We get the same disease that the people that we're following. So we want to make changes with that, especially in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is, again, the exemplification of people that have the money, that have the farm, that have the factories, and they continue to sell the foods that propagate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But what's happening with us is that we're dying from it, and nobody's saying anything about it. Recently, you probably heard some of the news that, especially like with the Affordable Care Act, every time that's on the news, people are like, oh, now we're discussing health. Whenever you hear the Affordable Care Act, do you ever hear anybody talk anything about health? Absolutely not. They only talk about two things. One is getting the insurance, and the other is saving money. That's it. So I say that, so what? You get the Affordable Care Act, you get the insurance, right? But what are you going to do with it now? Once you get the insurance, all you're going to do, if you don't have anything to follow, is you're going to continue eating in the same ways that you ate before you even got the insurance. Everybody got me? So the thing that we need to do is we need to change the way that we eat if we really want to change in our lives. The closer you are to nature, the healthier you become. Again, the closer you are to nature, the healthier you become. Our foods are adulterated, they're processed, they're refined, they're commercialized, and when it gets down to it, we cannot extrapolate life from death. So when you kill a food, when you process and over-refine the food, there is no life left in the food. But we eat these foods to sustain life, and what happens is that we start chronic diseases. The diseases and the main diseases that are killing us today are all chronic diseases, which means that you don't feel it right away. You don't bite into a sandwich and say, God, I feel like I'm catching cancer. It's not acute. It happens over time. So when we eat these foods that aren't alive, what happens is it is the onset of more disease. Now you might argue that, hey, you know what? We're living longer than we've ever lived before. What are you talking about? We're living longer because we're taking medications. The drugs are sustaining our lives, but we're not living stronger. There are people that are existing, but they're not alive and well. They're not doing things that allow them to be physical, that allow them to enjoy the traveling, allow them to participate in events. So what I'm saying to you in the Slaves of the Tongue is to look at it in a different way. If everybody in here started to eat in a different way that we know of, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just by doing the opposite of that, you would increase your chances of being healthier and decrease the risk of disease. Just by changing that around. Again, when we follow the followers, we end up dying just like the people that we're following. African American men die faster than any culture in the United States. Heart disease, we have diabetes, we have all the diseases that you can name are led by African American men. Why? Because we have propensities to these diseases, which means vulnerabilities to these diseases. How can we reverse that? We can reverse it by eating in a different way, drinking in a different way.